Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. Here we will start our topic Introduction to the Alternating Current and Kirchhoff's Law. This is Unit 4 of Core 3, that is Electricity and Magnetism of CBCS syllabus. Now let us start our topic with the alternating current, and this is the alternating current circuit we can say. The basic difference between the direct current and the alternating current is that in case of the direct current, with respect to the time, the current varies steadily. So this is the, suppose for the direct current, you can see the current is constant with respect to the time, but in case of the alternating current, when the time elapses, the current will changes periodically. You can see here the value of the current with respect to the time, it will changes periodically. Its magnitude as well as its direction will changes in case of the alternating current. So an alternating current is one which changes its magnitude and direction periodically. Let us consider this V naught be the peak value of the voltage. Then the instantaneous voltage, you can write this total voltage V equal to V naught into sin omega t. This V naught here represent the peak value of the alternating voltage. Or this also can be written as V equal to V naught cos omega t, or this voltage can be written as the combination of these two, sin omega t and cosine omega t. So this is the voltage can be written as V equal to V naught cos omega t plus V naught sin omega t. So basically this alternating current can be represented in the form of sine or in the form of cosine, or the combination of these two, that is sine and as well as the cosine. So V will be equal to V naught cos omega t plus V naught sin omega t. But if we will write this in the complex plane, then this voltage will be equal to, or this potential difference will be equal to V equal to V naught cos omega t plus j V naught sin omega t. This j is the imaginary number, or it can be represented as -1 root over. As in the case of the complex number, we denoted this as iota, that is equal to root over -1. This iota here, we are representing this iota as j, because in case of the alternating current, we will consider this small I as your current, and in case of the direct current, we will consider capital I as the direct current. So here simply the imaginary number, that is j equal to root over -1. So here the potential V equal to can be written as the summation of V naught cos omega t plus j V naught sin omega t, and if we will take common V naught, then this will be simply cos omega t plus j sin omega t, or this cos omega t plus j sin omega t, this is nothing but exponential j omega t. If you can remember, in the complex number we have already studied that the exponential I theta, or exponential, let me write Ix, this is equal to cosine x plus iota sin x. So this exponential Ix equal to cos x plus I sin x, here we are representing exponential j omega t. Here this iota we are representing as j, that is equal to root over -1. So simply in place of x, here we are writing omega t. So this will be simply cos omega t plus this will be j sin omega t. So finally here we are representing this total potential V equal to V naught exponential j omega t. And here if I will write, here you can see this potential V equal to V naught sin omega t. If I want to represent this, we can represent this as, this will be V equal to imaginary part of this V naught exponential j omega t. So in this complex number, you know, this one, this cosine is represented as the real part of, this is the real part of exponential Ix, and this sin x, it is the imaginary part of exponential Ix. So simply we can say that this exponential j omega t, in this case this cos omega t will represent the real part of exponential j omega t, and this sin omega t will represent the imaginary part of exponential j omega t. So here you can see this potential, here we are representing V will be equal to V naught sin omega t, which is equal to the imaginary part of V naught exponential j omega t. Now if I will plot this potential versus the time curve, then you can see here this is your basically V equal to V naught sin omega t curve, because at t equal to 0 this sin Sin 0 will be 0. So our graph will be like this, and this basically represent V equal to V naught sin omega t. And similarly, if I will plot a curve between the current and the time, and it will also varies like this, that is I equal to here, let me write small I because of the alternating current here I am representing. This I will be equal to I naught into sin omega t. So this is basically the representation of the potential and the time with respect to the potential and time curve, and we can say the current versus the time plot. Okay. So if I will consider this t equal to the time period of one oscillation, then nu is the frequency of the alternating voltage, and this nu equal to 1 by t. And here this V naught equal to the peak value of the voltage, and omega is the angular frequency, and its value equal to 2 pi into the nu. This is the basic terminology that is associated with the alternating current. Now we will see what is Kirchhoff's law. First of all, let us see what is Kirchhoff's current law. This Kirchhoff's current law is also known as KCL. Kirchhoff's current law is also known as KCL. And this Kirchhoff's current law, it leads to the conservation of charge. KCL leads to the conservation of charge. In case of the DC current, the sum of the current at a point, that point is called the node or junction in a circuit, is 0. So let us consider, suppose here this is the node, and if I will consider this is, suppose any current is I1 DC current, so this is capital I1, and suppose this is current I2, and this one is suppose current I3. So at this point, if you want to calculate the current value, then this will be the sum of the current at this particular value, since they are in the same direction. So this I1 plus I2 plus I3, or we can say that the sum of the current will be equal to 0. If there will be the current like I4, I5 and so on, so we can write the sum of current will be equal to 0. And if suppose here I will consider another condition, suppose at any node, here the current is in this direction, suppose this is I1, and this is the current, suppose I2 is flowing in the just the opposite direction, this is also in the opposite direction I3. Now if you want to calculate at this node the current value, then this will be the sum of the current. And here suppose if I will consider this I1 as a positive direction, then we will consider this I2 and I3, this is just in the opposite direction to that of the I1. So here you can write this is minus I2 and this one is also minus I3, that is equal to 0. Or you can take this I1 as, suppose if I will consider this as negative I1, then this can be considered as positive I2 and this will be plus I3. This is also true, that is equal to 0. Now you can write this as I1 will be equal to I2 plus I3, and also in this case you can see, in this case also you can write I1 will be equal to I2 plus I3. Okay. So basically we can say that the Kirchhoff's current law states the sum of the current in a circuit will be equal to 0. And in an AC circuit, in an alternating current circuit, when it is time dependent, the charge tends to accumulate temporarily at various points in the circuit. But if the frequency of the alternating current is such that the time scale variation of the current is much greater than the time scale accumulation of the charge in the conductor, then we can assume that there is no accumulation of the charge in the conductor. This means that whenever charge is deposited, suppose here you can see, in case of the alternating current, suppose this is the capacitor is connected in this alternating current circuit. Okay. So whenever the charge is deposited on one plate, an equal amount of charge will flows out of the other plate. So as long as the current enters one plate, the same current is leaving the other plate of the capacitor. Now the two plates of the capacitor are just like the two ends of the resistor. Okay, now this will behave like a resistor. So we can use the Kirchhoff's first law for the alternating current circuit containing the capacitor. So here you can see for the alternating current, this Kirchhoff's law is applicable the circuit containing the capacitor only, or it can be behaves like the resistor in a circuit. And this Kirchhoff's current law This Kirchhoff's current law, it gives the conservation of charge. Now we will see what is Kirchhoff's voltage law. This Kirchhoff's voltage law, it leads to the conservation of energy. In case of the direct current, for any closed circuit, this closed circuit is also known as the mesh, the algebraic sum of the potential drop across the resistor is equal to the potential drop across the battery. So in case of the direct current, the algebraic sum of the total potential drop will be equal to the potential drop across the resistor will be equal to the potential drop across the battery. But in case of, if I will consider for the alternating current, so due to the presence of the inductor, capacitor and resistor, the situation is different due to the time dependent behavior of the current. So the current and the potential difference are instantaneous relationship, we can say. So we can take the instantaneous voltage and the current at the terminal. So in case of the Kirchhoff's second law or this KVL, the situation for AC will be equal to the situation in that of the DC. So here we can calculate the total EMF, suppose E, that will be equal to the voltage drop across the inductor, suppose VL, plus the voltage drop across the capacitor, that is VC, plus the voltage drop across the resistor, that is suppose VL. So for VL we can write, for the inductor this will be L into di by dt, plus for the capacitor this will be Q by C, and for the resistor from the Ohm's law we can write V equal to IR. So simply we have substituted the value of VL, VC and VR. Just you have to keep this thing in the mind that in case of the alternating current or in case of the direct current, the algebraic sum of the potential drop across the resistor, that will be equal to the potential drop across the battery, and this leads to the conservation of energy. So this is the basic difference between KCL and KVL. So in the next class we will see what is impedance, reactance, what is admittance, and then we will see when a resistor is connected, only the resistor is connected in a circuit, then what will happen to the voltage and the potential and the current. And similarly we will discuss about when the only inductor will connected in a circuit, then what will happen to the potential and the current, and so on. So this is all for today. Thank you all.